Welcome back, gents and ladies, to League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys. And if you recall, in 2019 LEC Spring, it was the perfect path. The script was written. We're going to get Fnatic win streaking towards the end of the regular season, taking down Splyce. Here they come. They're just waiting to meet up against G2. And then Origin said, nah, bro.
Nah,
Denied. We didn't get the dream final.
Deficio said, I want my crack at G2, and well, look what that's done.
You got 6 chances.
Oof.
And
hey, sometimes you need more than that, and the Fnatic squad are looking for at least their chance here against G2, and they're going to get it, and we're going to see if they were really asking for this one, or if maybe it's a little bit of buyer's regret.
Yeah, I mean, every time they meet up in the regular season, it's hyped up. Match of the century, of the decade, of the millennium that these guys are going head-to-head. But you know it's going to be an exciting series because these teams are first and second in kills per game. G2 over 20 average per game. That is ludicrous, man.
Oh, man. Like, G2 obviously has been pretty much throughout the entirety of this year our clear number one, let alone number one in Europe, number one
on the planet,
in the world, in the universe. I don't even think they have League of Legends out there.
Well, I'm not going to make sweeping statements.
Hey, I'll make a statement like that. I challenge anyone outside this galaxy that G2 is the best in this universe here.
You better hope they're not listening.
And the way that they've played here, they deserve it. But on the flip side, when you're looking at who is second best, yes, you do look at a lot of these ones. On the Fnatic side, we were having Splyce up there at some points here during the split, but certainly shown us here that it is the Fnatic squad deserving this spot. They've put a stomp on that here with their win against Splyce in the regular season, and now earning this spot here, this matchup, this premier showdown here against G2.
We're going to get capped in the top lane again at some point in this series. I mean, you know there's going to be some wild and zany picks, but I feel like obviously G2 are still going to be massive favorites in this. They are massive favorites against anyone in the Western scene right now and 95% of the teams in the world. 99%. Yeah,
absolutely, and I would still hold on to that very strongly if I was a G2 fan, but if you're looking at this from the Fnatic side and you're thinking to yourself, okay, give me some positives, give me what we're going to be getting from this here. I think right now you're looking at your squad. I think Bwipo is playing as well as he's played almost all year, and I think that right now that is something you absolutely need to have in these matchups because you're going to, in one of these type of lanes, either it's going to be the jungle, mid lane, or in the bottom side, you're going to be losing one of these matchups here, is my prediction, given the way that G2 plays and how they're able to just come at you with so much aggression and find you at your weaknesses, at the mistakes, and take advantage of it. But it's all going to be about having somewhere solidified here, and I think that Bwipo is going to be the guy that has to provide that here for the Fnatic squad if they want to have any chance. And of course, if Bwipo's playing well, we always know that means Broxah is on top of his game, helping him out.
Yeah, and the contrast between the versions of Broxah that we got in the two G2 matchups. The first game, people were talking about he played the early game perfectly, and there was literally nothing better he could have done. In the second time they matched up, there was literally everything he could have done better.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be the question mark here for the Fnatic squad. Is something that is slightly concerning is having such of a variance here in the way that you have played against G2 with the results here that you were able to get against them and the individual performances that you had in them. And of course, knowing that this is such an emotional matchup here for both of these organizations, the whole caps transferring situation, of course, and then, hey, it's only been added on to the fire here with, of course, our lovely Onslaught providing some wonderful Twitter memes.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't stop, and you better be monitoring on Twitter when these teams do match up. But yeah, we never really had that full revenge series of caps against Fnatic, so I am very excited for that. And if there is a mid laner who can not necessarily outplay or beat caps, but not feed and kind of neutralize that lane, I think Nemesis is the guy who could step up and do it.
I think Nemesis is a fantastic replacement here. He has already proven that full on for the Fnatic squad, that they are in good hands with him now taking over for the future, and with him going into this matchup against Caps, a nice little bit of a revenge reflash here. We already saw that here in North America, getting the Niski and Jensen show.
That was fun.
That was pretty darn fun.
Don't tweet too early.
Yeah, no.
That's what we learned.
Onslaught, you watch your Twitter, man. You be careful here. You don't want any of this bad NA JoJo going over to you, man.
Just wait until the series is over. You don't need to tweet during Game 3. Well, maybe in this one you will, because Game 3 will be the end. But despite the mid lane and all the storylines there, the key matchup for me has got to be in that bottom lane, just because of I have no idea what these guys are going to pick. They're not 80 carries anymore. We are back fully to awesome dudes, as Papa Smithy coined, and just some of the picks that Reckless and Perks have gone through this split. Reckless, you know, we've got the Garen, of course, 4-1 on the Karma. Played the Janna, that was in kind of a troll game. And then on Perks' side, Cassiopeia, Yasuo, Zoe, he played a Callista. Not many people are playing that, so I expect some wacky picks.
Oh, I'm full on expecting the wacky picks, and I love that type of thing here about this bot lane and what you're going to be getting. I want to see, obviously, from the Fnatic side, I think the strength should still more or less be in playing something maybe a little bit more closer to standard, obviously, than someone like Perks is going to want to play here for the G2 side. But you're right, that is one of the biggest strengths here for G2 is that flexibility that you have with Perks as your ADC, playing these awesome dudes, and the way that he plays them, the mindset that he has in the game when he plays them is just completely different. I like to say the example here is, of course, bringing him down just a little bit, our own NA double lift and Vlad, and saying, well, yes, you might know how to play him and push the buttons, but it's not exactly the same when you don't flank the same way a top laner would with this type of character. And the way that Perks champions these awesome dudes, man, he is a serious threat here on the G2 side.
Well, that's why he's absolutely unmatched in playing these mages in the bottom lane, because he played mages for like 4 years as a mid laner. So yes, that is still the biggest boon that he brings to this squad. And I mean, Reckless, you saw against Splice when they matched up. Oh, wow. He's actually good at Kaisa. He can actually play 80 carries. Isn't that something? So I'd like to see him on more carries.
Yeah, I would for sure like that. And again, that's why I'm calling for something a little bit more standard here, something here that can dish out the damage on a much more reliable basis here type of situation. Rely upon someone like Whippo to establish a front line here for you and do that damage that you need to take down G2.
We can call this series of the year, century, millennium, whatever it is, but I still think G2 completely destroys Fnatic. It's not going to be record time. It's not going to beat Origin. I think Fnatic even gets a win, but it's probably when G2 is up 2-0 and then Game 3 run out whatever TFT comp you want to talk about. Because you know that of any team that they're going to face, G2 wants to style on Fnatic the most.
I'm going with that 3-1 as well here. I'm calling for it. I think the Fnatic have enough in them here to get that win against G2. There might be some...
Is it cheese picks that get them a win, or do they just play a great game?
I think they play a great game. Okay. I think that they actually comes through and they manage to beat G2 all fair and square, but then it's going to come down to too much here on that G2 side, taking them down and being the #1 team for EU.
We should vote on a global ban for Karma for the rest of playoffs across the globe and worlds. Let's start the petition right now, boys.